Welcome to the annual safety training for the Barbers shooting team. If there's any part of this presentation you do not understand, ask a coach or your parent for explanation at the end of this video. Safety is the most important focus of the Barbers shooting team. Safety is a responsibility of every coach, shooter, parent, and spectator. Since the shooter is in control of their gun, their focus is critical. A shooter's attitude and skills are very important for the safety of everyone. Our reputation for safety and good behavior is our license to continue to shoot as a club and individually. Remember, you are representing the team at all practices, meetings, and events you attend. We focus on the acronym MATS to demonstrate gun safety. M stands for muzzle. Always keep the muzzle or the end of your barrel pointed in a safe direction. A stands for action. Always keep your action or chamber open, empty, and exposed to view until you are ready to shoot. With an over and under shotgun, you keep the gun broken open, empty, and exposed to view. T stands for trigger. Always keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. S stands for shells. Always match the proper shells to your gun. This will be covered in other slides. Finally, always remember the golden rule of shooting safety. Treat every firearm as if it is loaded. In the event that a ceasefire is called, take the following actions unless otherwise instructed by your coach. Unload your gun and keep the action open. Place your gun in the gun rack. Step back off the firing line. And then finally, don't resume until cleared to do so by your coach. Anyone seeing a safety concern can call for a ceasefire. Two of the potential gun malfunctions that create a safety concern are misfire and squib load. A misfire occurs when you pull the trigger but the shell fails to fire. Sometimes this happens due to a failure of the shotgun or the shotgun shell, but it also occurs due to a slow burn of the powder. This may result in a delayed fire as the pressure slowly builds up and the gun fires later. In the event that you have a misfire, keep the gun shouldered and pointed in a safe direction for at least 30 seconds, and then raise your hand. Wait for a coach to clear the shell. A squib load is an incomplete discharge of the shotgun shell, leaving a portion of the wad or shot lodged in the barrel. This results in an obstructed barrel and can result in damage to the gun or serious injury to the shooter. This is more common with reloads. In the event that you have a squib load, keep your gun pointed in a safe direction and raise your hand. Wait for a coach to clear the shell and barrel. It is important to only use the correct ammo. Data stamps on the barrel of your gun will assist you in matching the correct ammunition to your shotgun. The matchings will tell you the proper gauge and length of shell for your gun. Even if it will fit, never load an incorrect shell in a shotgun or any other gun. It is important that you do not mix ammo. If you accidentally load a 20 gauge shotgun shell into a 12 gauge shotgun, it will slide down into the barrel. Nothing happens when you pull the trigger. If a second 12 gauge shell is then loaded into the barrel, you will have an obstructed barrel with two shells being fired off. This will likely result in damage to the gun and high potential for serious injury to the shooter. With modern shotgun shells, the 20 gauge shell is typically yellow to help distinguish it from a 12 gauge. While less common, there are two more deadly combinations: a 16 gauge and a 10 gauge shotgun, a 28 gauge and a 20 gauge shotgun. The distance that the shot fired from a shotgun travels is determined by the size of the shot and the type of load. Only size 7.5, 8s, and 9s shot with a charge of 1 1/8 ounce or less is allowed at most shooting fields. The unfired load may not exceed 2 3/4 inches in length. Reloaded shells are allowed, but they must first be approved by the club manager. To conclude the annual safety training, it is important that you follow the elements of safe shooting and range rules at the property you are shooting at. The range rules for our club will be reviewed following this presentation. You should know how your gun operates and only use the ammo appropriate for it. Be sure of your target and what lies beyond it. You are required to have the proper eye and ear protection at all times at the field. You must wear the appropriate clothing and closed-toed shoes. Be respectful and do not participate in horseplay. Remember, you are representing the club at practice as well as any competition. Do not rest the muzzle of your gun on your hand, foot, or any other part of your body. Stay away from the firing line when not shooting. It should go without saying, but guns do not mix with alcohol or drugs, and it won't be tolerated. We want everyone to have fun, but violations of these items covered in this presentation or the range rules will result in retraining and possible removal from the firing line and/or program. Please discuss any items you do not understand with your parent and/or the coaches. Thank you for completing the annual safety training.